It would have to be a incredible Western. This is the most beautiful place. To look out to the east and see the Guadalupes, it's an incredible little valley.
I probably would make a pictorial essay of the surrounding terrain, because that's what interests me most, is looking. My whole life is predicated on observation of the land, and that's would be to me what I would go to look at first, would be the country itself.
Okay, Dell City is 13 miles north, straight down. Carlsbad, New Mexico is 87 miles east, and El Paso, Texas, 78 miles west. And there's nothing in between.
If you were going to shoot something in Dell City, if you were going to film something, do you have any idea what you would make a film about?
Make a film? I guess the choreography of a well drilling crew and a well pulling crew. It's just like a dance.
I don't know, I would film probably some of the old timers that's been out here since the 40s and 30s and 50s, you know.
This is stories that I have heard from the past, that this was a very vibrant, very active little community. Lots of folks, I understand, used to be here. The ones that are here now are here because of a family hold, land hold, and absolute dedication and refusal to let this little community die. There are lots of ghost towns all over this wonderful state of Texas. There's historically ghost towns everywhere. This may look like one to an outsider, but once you get into it, you'll find that the heart is beating very nicely.
Pues para mí es importante el restaurante, muy importante, para el pueblo.
Crop duster down in that part of the world down there. 100 yards from where he did the first one. Did it again.
You're kidding.
2 in 1 day.
He did that too.
By the time Daddy got to him that time, Ed said, "Guy, I've had enough. I'm going to the bar." That was it.
I didn't know he went in twice.
2 in 1 day. He lives up in Browns Point, Oregon now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Is
on.
he still alive?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hell, he's younger than you are.
That don't mean nothing.
Well, I just know that all the old, I call them the old men, go there and catch up on all the gossip that they think they know from the since they'd been there the morning before.
Well, you mean you think we know it?
They knew where the water table was.
Is she good today, CD? When that instant ferment or whatever it does, it kills the bacteria in it.
Are you gonna make some green chili and chicken? Yes.
We meet there every morning, discuss our problems, and see who's baling hay, who's cutting hay, who's running a trucker, and what's the sheep situation in Rosita's, and that's our center of our town, it seems like right now.
It's good food. Been living on it for 50 years.
She knows what I like. I don't even have to order. She just hands it to me.
Rosita's kind of special to all of us. She's kind of been our mother away from home all these years, you know.
Bye, mijo.
This was just a little old one-room Becero shack. When Rosita and Manuel got married, they lived in this little house until they moved over into the bigger house whenever the Beceros weren't here. But they lived here for their honeymoon, maybe, I don't know. Got one little window there, one little window there. Had a little cook stove, I believe, right there, one of those little butane burning cook stoves. Then had pots and pans right here, and then the beds were over here on this side and this side right here. She was, I guess, 16 years old, and then Manuel went to work for somebody else, and then after a few years, he ended up having his own farm. And they farmed, and Rosita opened up the restaurant. I don't know what year it was.
Mi esposo tiene 15 años que murió. En noviembre tuvo 15 años. Sí. Ahí están con toda la familia. El padre de mis 6 hijos. Sí, él es el padre. Sí le gustaba mucho porque pues el café ayudaba mucho. Mucho ayudaba. Sí, era pues dinero todos los días. Y en un rancho no hay dinero. No hay. Quiebra nomás si quiebra. Sí. A él le gustaba mucho el rancho. Ya quiero retirar. Tengo una hija, la hija que está en El Paso, pero no es segura. Yo quiero una gente segura, porque aquí el pueblo necesita mucho. Yo quiero una persona que esté segura, que trabaje, que le guste. Necesita gustarle. Si no, no trabaja el negocio.
My favorite movie star, Pedro Infante. Si mira el retrato grande que está ahí, es Pedro Infante. Tú, solo tú, eres causa de todo mi llanto, de mi desencanto y desesperación. Tú, solo tú, has llenado de luto mi vida, habiendo una herida en mi corazón. Me falta mucho.
Mira cómo ando, mujer, por tu querer. Borracho y apasionado, no más por tu amor. Mira cómo ando, mi bien, muy dado a la borrachera y a la perdición.
Mi nombre es Rosita Martínez. Yo vine aquí a Dell City en 1956. Trabajé en la tienda, en la mercantil, con Ray McCoy. Trabajé cuando estaba antes de casarme. Trabajé por 3 años en la escuela, la cafetería. Y después abrí mi negocio chiquito, se llamaba Mall Shop. Duré 2 años y luego ya abrí Rositas Café. Abro mi restaurante pues para mejor vida, hacer mejor vida para mis hijos. Está abierto Rositas Café hace 26 años. los 7 días de la semana, 365 días al año. Antes cuando empecé, trabajaba 20 horas diarias. Ahora ya nomás son de 5 de la mañana a 3 de la tarde. Cuando yo abrí Rositas Café, yo no tenía estufa y me la regalaron. Una amiga y un amigo habían tenido restaurante muchos años atrás, está muy vieja, dice, está muy vieja la estufa. Conmigo tiene 26 años. Ya me dice como 76, 80 años. Y es muy buena estufa. Cuando yo trabajaba en la mercantil, ese registro ya era viejo. Y ese registro me lo puso a mí, el Ray McCoy, para mí nomás. Cuando yo abrí mi negocio, ¿verdad? Él me dijo, ¿quieres tu registro? ¿Te lo vendo? Sí, sí lo quiero. Y ese registro, mis hijos me dicen, ya, mamá, compre un registro nuevo, ¿no? Porque ese registro, no hay luz y mi negocio está abierto. Roy Rasco es el primer cliente en la mañana. Jimmy Luchick sigue. Está primero Jimmy Luchick, pero son los primeros en la mañana. Jimmy es muy especial para mí. Yo tengo unas fotos de Jimmy cuando estaba niño de 6 años y allá en el rancho donde se mantenía él en mi casa. Y siempre las tengo conmigo. Es como un hijo, Jimmy, como un hijo.
Morning, Rosie. How are you today? Well, could be better.
Rositas Café, me imagino que es algo muy especial para Dell City, para la gente de Dell City. Es una historia para mí, ¿verdad? Porque los mismos clientes, todos los años, siempre. Y no se han cansado de mí, ni yo de ellos. Me siento muy feliz aquí. Yo nunca pienso irme de aquí, de Dell City. Es mi familia. Y con el restaurante, pues, me siento feliz. Me siento feliz porque es mi vida. Es mi esposo. Abren y cierran y yo ahí estoy. Siempre estoy ahí en Rositas.
De mi desencanto y desesperación.
Jimmy Lutrick. I've lived here in Dell City for 55 years. My mom and dad brought me out here in the summer of 1951, and they'd lived here since 1948 or 49. I don't know when they got here, but anyway, something like that, sometime like that. So my dad helped pioneer the valley. I guess we all did, because I've been here as long as anyone else around here.
Well, Jimmy Lutrick is our son, and he lives on the farm that we developed in 1951. And when we retired 4 or 5 years ago, we turned it over to Jimmy, and I was getting in trouble financing. So anyway, they had a deal in there where they could refinance it through a direct heir and without foreclosure and a bunch of stuff like that. And so it turned over to Jimmy, and then just like family to family, father to son.
Gordon. He don't like the motorcycle. What I feel our biggest commodity is our kids. And there's just not, they're not staying here to carry on the farming, and who's gonna farm it when, like I took over from my dad, who's gonna farm it after me, because my kids don't want it. The only thing I can do is sell out or whatever, and I'm pretty sure somebody will take it over. This is underground pipeline I put in 2 or 3 years ago. If I don't watch it and the wind gets up and then it blows it away, and then the water don't come out, it'll bust the pipe back up that way. So you gotta watch it till the water starts coming out. The wind won't blow everything away. What I'm doing now, I'm watering out of an underground pipeline. It's a 15-inch line, which is a pretty good sized line. It'll handle up to 3,500 gallons a minute. All I'm watering right there is probably about 1,000 gallons a minute. And that's the new pipeline I put in. If you can see right here, right outside the window, this is an old cement ditch. And I used to water out of it. We used it till, well, you can see it's just crumbled away. Those ditches I was losing more water than when I was getting to the field.
My name is Salvador Hernandez from Dell City. We are loading this hay for our goats. Right now it's pretty expensive. Good hay for a goat. It's good enough. This guy, Ludwig, he has this, and I've been holding all that, all the past year and this year. He's a good man. He's a good guy.
He's one of these old farmers like my dad, been out here forever. Lost his farm, so he's got a few goats. So I give him this hay so he can make ends meet. My dad's the only that I can think of now. I'm still the only farmer that's farming the same place that my dad had that I remember. I know I've had 3 years here that I've had to bite the bullet. And then this last year we've kind of come out, well, the last 2 years we've kind of come out pretty good. But I told you about putting in that pipeline. And before I did that, I was gonna have to quit farming or change. I had to change my irrigation. I had to upgrade, meaning what it was. And it took the time, and then you had to have the money. You had to have the money and make the sacrifice to do it. And I'll be paying for it the rest of my life, But at least I can make the payment now. At least I can get water where I need water. And without water in this part of the country, you don't have nothing, because this is just desert. If it wasn't for the water here, none of us would be here.
Well, I think I would do a documentary on nature. Maybe a study of how this irrigated farmland in the last 50 years has changed the migratory path of a lot of birds.
I'd have to say something in the range of ranchers, cattle, a lot of cattle here. These are still old-time ranchers out here, a lot of them.
I would make a movie about family, young couples here in Dell City. My name's Maria Martos. I was born in Durango, Mexico. And at 3.5, I came here to Dell City. I met my husband here in Dell City, and we have one child. He's 11 years old. Right now, I'm currently working 2 part-time jobs. One is at the post office, and the other one is at the water district. I've worked here as a substitute teacher, as a technician for the water and soil conservation district. What else? A secretary for the city of Dell City. I worked for Rosita for a while as a waitress. I used to be a catechist teacher for the San Isidro Catholic Church. I've been off and on jobs. It's kind of hard because there's not very many jobs, and I don't know, it's hard. Try to get a good job here. I made that there too, just simple stuff, simple basket. I would like to have like a little shop where you could buy a bunch of like gifts and stuff, and sell a lot of the crafts that I do. A lot of stuff. I've made a lot of stuff. So I'd rather have my own job, my own stuff, my own business.
Welcome to Cut and Curl Beauty Shop. I'm Donnie Zeiler from Dell City, Texas. Everything was designed by me in here for my customers, to be comfortable, I mean, I have everything rigged, and pictures like Bonnie LaRue, she's a painter in Dell City, and she painted this, so she gave me this picture. Sometimes they go out, that's why this one has only 1 speed now. Because I'm the mechanic, we don't have no electrician out here. So whatever happens, you rewire it or fix it yourself. I'm the only beauty shop in the whole Hudspeth County because it's the largest county in Texas and least populated, but I still maintain to do almost everybody that's around the country, with 100 miles area.
Roy's pickup wouldn't start this morning. Battery was down.
You're kidding. His new truck?
Yeah. We had to use mine.
Which one are you driving?
My new pickup.
Oh, your new truck. Need I make good coffee this time?
I don't know. I brought my own. I was afraid it was so stout I couldn't drink it. But we've been here since '59 and lived out at the old place till, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated it every minute when we came over here. We came over here and to look at the place. Excuse me. And come across that mountain, I cried all the way over here. But eventually you get used to it.
morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, I'm better.
Yeah.
To really be a successfully performing couple out here, both need to like the area.
Yeah.
If one doesn't like it, it doesn't really work out very well. I can remember Jim Jordan and his wife. Jim loved it out here, but his wife didn't.
Yeah.
And so they tried to live in El Paso and farm out here, and it didn't work.
No, you got, well, it didn't take long because when you say I do, you've got to work together and go where one.
The reason I would make it of a family and the young couples is because a lot of people think that being here in a small town that a lot of the young couples don't like being here. And I think they do. Okay, we're almost there. My favorite place to go is to the Round Mountain, especially when you're stressed, angry. I like going up to the top, and I like to pray up there because I think it's a little closer to heaven. It's neat. You can tell. Are we ready? Being a young couple, you know, me and Cesar, I guess because it was kind of hard for us to be together, you know. We had a lot of rough times trying to stay together and stuff because of problems and gossip, and we did make it. Why would a young couple like yourself decide to live in Dell City? I want people to know that couples can make it, even though sometimes, you know, they say that they can't. Yeah. Look over there to the Dell City. Right there. What?
My name is Maria Holguin.
And I'm Jose Holguin.
We both live in Dell City. We have 3 children, ages 9, 8, and a beautiful daughter, 2 years and 4 months.
And we're teachers here in Dell City. I teach for the school, and she teaches at Head Start. We decided to live in Dell City just to begin our careers. Dell City gave us our opportunity, so we decided to pay them back and stay here.
We had the opportunity to move out of Dell City once. We did for a year, and as soon as we could, we came back to the same exact place, and hopefully to stay here.
I'm Matthew, and this is my wife, Clara Lichty.
And we have one son, Matthew Jacob.
Well, we moved to Dell City because we originally lived in a large city in San Antonio. There were a lot of gang problems, drug problems. My wife grew up in a small community, and she's about the best person I know in the whole world.
I grew up in between Juarez and El Paso, and every place I went, it was a big place, a big town, a big city.
We're more friendly here in Dell City, in small towns. Big cities is like they have an attitude.
They're always in a rush, and it's even a rush to say hi when you're driving. You know you're getting close to Dell City because people, they start waving at you on the road. Disadvantages is far from Paso, closest town with a hospital.
There's not enough services, not enough stores, not enough gasoline stations, a lot of different things.
Maybe a 24-hour convenience store, a little Walmart shopping center close by.
A doctor, an ambulance, we don't have none of those things, so that makes it tough.
A swimming pool in the summer, a big one.
In a small town like this, the family is very important to everybody here.
Even if families, they split up, they always take care of their children. They look after them. You still can see the parents that are separated. Each of them is in one side of the gym watching the games. And I know for sure that if my children are in the other side of town, if something happens to them, I know somebody will take care of them and they'll take them home to me.
I admire my husband for his strength, for his integrity, and mostly for his trustworthiness.
And I admire Clara because by far Clara is the most loving, compassionate, giving, understanding person that I've ever encountered in my whole entire life.
What I admire most about my husband is his honesty. He's a hard-working person, and he's family-oriented.
I really admire everything about my wife, everything.
Thank you.
My family has been here since around the turn of the century at 1900. My great-grandfather came through there in the 1870s and back and forth at different times. Well, this is a historic site. There's a little set of mountains that goes back even to prehistoric times. The Indians stayed here. The Spaniards came through, and then it was part of one of the immigrant trails going to California when they discovered gold in 1849. People lived here because it was one of the few water sources in this part of the country. Water dictated all. It's still so today. It's pretty important in this part of the world. And going to get to be more important because it seems like water's fixing to be more valuable than gold. The real reason I wanted y'all to come a little further around this way is because all down this wall are petroglyphs. And that currently they're not as plain as they were at one time because of the exfoliation of the rocks as they're chipping off and they're fading, just due to nature. But there was a tremendous amount of writing right there. If you study it, you see something different every time. Like everyone, I have a curiosity as to what they represent, because they're bound to have a meaning to the people that left them of some sort. Maybe that's the story of the people that put them there. A history, so to speak. To me, probably the most defining point in the history of Dell Valley is when they discovered irrigation-type water, that quantity, in 1947, because like I say, that changed everything in the area from that time forward. Early on, mostly ranchers in the area. There was no Dell City, no farming. There were ranches all down there, and people had little windmills and things that they watered livestock out of. And that lasted until around 1947. And then with the advent of irrigation water, then cotton became king and it boomed, the valley did. Those people that moved in there and raised cotton, drilled the wells and created the infrastructure that you see today.
We moved down here in 51, in 50. 50. It was really like the pioneers is what I felt like. And everybody was young. There weren't any elderly people out here. They were all young like we were.
We came here in 55, and there was nothing, you know. I mean, there was a lot of cotton, and We didn't have natural gas or electricity, telephones.
We had this little place that Gene built, little one room, and he had a little bitty sink about that big. So I could pour the water out. I didn't have to carry it outside, but I had to bring it in.
I tell everybody we had running water. When you get ready for a bucket of water, you'd run out and get it.
We didn't have many buildings, you know, just like a desert, you know. And then they start building.
The sign up on the highway where it says the Valley of Hidden Waters, that's exactly what it was. You had a 50-50 chance of maybe getting water. There's a guy in the first few years down here, he would buy a piece of ground, build a house on it, and start hunting water. He done that about 7 times and went broke and finally left.
We had movies every day. And then on Saturday, we had a Mexican movie. And it was only on Saturday. And we used to go, my husband always loved Mexican movie, so I had it translated. I had it translated to him, you know. But it was wonderful. It was always full. Always full. It was great. That was real nice because that's the only entertainment that we had, you know, at that time when we first moved here, the theater.
Well, I'd like to have a movie of my baby lambs running and playing. Morning. First thing I do when I get up in the morning is get my coffee, and then I've got 6 bands of sheep. And I go from one band to the other, checking for coyote or death or sick sheep or anything or water, and we run them under electric fence, changing batteries, putting hot batteries on, and it's an everyday job. There's once in a while we get a day off, but not very often. Take care of sheep, you got to be on top of it and take care of a problem before it gets real serious. Maggie? Maggie? When they're on good feed and when they're putting on a lot of pounds a day and they're running and playing and jumping and having a good time, well, then that makes me have a good time. Now these lambs here are about 9 months old. At about 12 months, they'll be going slaughtered. See, most of these lambs will wind up Boston, New York. That's their main. They eat a lot more lamb there than they do here. I don't know why, but that's the way it is.
I'm Bonnie Prather. I live a couple miles north of Dell City, where I own and operate the Sheep Herders Bar. I named the bar Sheep Herders because at the time that I opened, my dad and I were taking care of about 30,000 head of sheep. And there were some other people here from California that had about 20,000. There was Basco sheep herders all over the place, so I figured that'd be my customers, and I just named the bar the Sheep Herders Bar. If you're working sheep, you don't have to listen to any back talk. If you're working drunks, you have to listen to a lot of back talk. I much prefer working with the sheep. It's a lot more peaceful. But I got a little old to be running around these fields chasing sheep, so I had to quit.
Well, they tell you one thing. Let me put you a little joke. It's a joke among the sheep men. There's only one thing dumber than a sheep. That's the man that owns them. That's been the story of the sheep man for a lot of years. Got a lamb here falling back. I don't know what's wrong with him. Like something caught him by the ear. Get a hold of him, Danny. Get him. Get him. Hold him. Hold him. That's good. That's good. How'd it do? Coyotes had a hold of this lamb. Sure has. He didn't kill him, but he sure tried. Some way he got away, thank goodness. Well, I don't like to see my lamb slaughtered. I can't say that, but that's life. That's what they're raised here for. That's been the way the world's been going for millions of years. I mean, now as far as me feeling guilty eating a lamb chop, I don't. No, sir. I love it, and it's just something you get used to, I guess. It's always the way it's always been. So you don't think anything about it. I really don't. Yeah, what I was going to do, I'd get and pick up with him. We'd go out here and cut them off. We'd try to drift them out. Just let them come real slow, right out in front of you here.
Okay.
And then, you ready? Are they ready? Or?
Give us a few more minutes.
Not quite ready yet. It's going to take some time. You got to be out there and kind of settle down. Let the sheep will move away from you, and whenever they move away, they call their babies and try to get away. But if you just stay out there till they get calmed down, quietened down, and then first thing you know, they just don't pay any attention to you, and they just come on up and do their thing, either grazing, playing, or whatever they do. But I do love to watch them baby lambs run and play.
200 for 200 to bid, 300 to buy, 2 down, half over to bid, over to give 105, 105, 105, sell them, 95 bucks, number 118 to buyer, 118 to buyer.
The biggest part of this equipment was a man. He got sick, and you know, life problems causes all these deals, and he was going bankrupt, and then he went bankrupt, and then he passed away right shortly thereafter. And belongs to FHA. You know, they've loaned the money on all of it, and just trying to recoup what they can.
130 over to give 130, now 40, 140, 50 over to give $150 bill. 150 now 60 over to give 160, now 70 over to give 170, 170, 170, sell them 160 bucks, number.
Coming now, as it appears, because there is so much water there in Dell Valley, I think you're entering that third era where water will be of prime importance to urban centers like El Paso, and that eventually they will treat and ship that water through some sort of pipelines, or pipelines, it may be many, to get it to El Paso in order to meet their increasing needs for water. Crop agriculture and some ranching will be there all during that time. I don't see it completely disappearing from the landscape. But I do believe that that water will be exported at some time in the future.
It's funny. People that said that they never wanted to live here in their whole life, and they're coming back because they think they're might have a piece of land that's worth something now that El Paso's looked at it. I mean, just, you know, human nature, I guess. Come back and, you know, think they're gonna get rich quick, which I don't think none of. Well, the farmers with the most land, you know, is the one that's they got the biggest straw, so they're the ones that's gonna make the most money out of it. I don't really see my place going to El Paso. I'd rather, you know, like keep it in agriculture.
Well, I don't think any of the farmers would quit farming. I don't think any of the ranchers would quit ranching. They would be right here if they could make a living farming and ranching. Now, the time may be coming that the water is the only thing that'll make any money. And it's looking to me more and more every day like the water we're sitting on here is gonna be worth more than what we can produce off of it.
Well, since I'm raised on a ranch, that's what turns me on. I'd go out here and film the ranchers in his daily job.
Bye-bye. See you later. Jiba, bye-bye. Gotta go to work. See you later. Jiba waves like this, and Egbert waves like this. Bye-bye. Be a good boy.
Yeah, really. Pretty cool. Gwen Carpenter. Who was that? I'd forgot about her.
It used to be full. When we had the tomato opened in 1980, and there was a lot of tomato fields, and they had the tomato shed. And so they had migrant workers come in and do the chopping of the tomatoes, chopping the weeds out. And they had truckers coming in, the tomato shed was operating, and all of that jazz. and the bar was real busy then. There was a lot of people coming in and out, a lot of traffic. But boy, the last 5 years, it's really been slow. A lot of people have moved. A lot of my old drunks have died out. And I have a good memory about every one of them. They can take away my living, but they can't take away my memories.
You have to remember one thing, though. They all died on your money, didn't they?
Every damn one of them. So therefore, most of them didn't get flowers at their funeral.
Oh yeah, they're big drinkers. Yeah, they drink a lot of beer. Yeah, because like right now, see, we have Mercantile, then we have the 2 T's, and then we have that bar over there. Of course, that bar over there is only 3 days a week. And then we have Bonnie and myself, and we sell a lot of beer. I'm Jenny Cheeseworth from Dell City, and I have a business, the Cottage. And the reason I'm selling out is because I'm 91 years old, and I want to retire. I thought I better. They're going pretty fast. Hasta la semana que entra no me viene la cerveza. Ahora sí voy a comprar más. Usted quiere cuartos, ¿verdad? Pues le voy a comprar puros cuartos a usted.
Ándele pues.
Ándele.
Gracias.
Ándele, seguro. He wanted quarts, you know, and I've been having quarts, but I didn't know because sometimes he takes 4, sometimes he takes, you know, a 6-pack or a 12-pack. So now, today, he just said, no quarts. I says, no. I said, but next week, I'm going to get 2 cases, and it'll be just for you. Well, that's the way to be, you know, please your customers, you know. Unless they're like some, they come over. Hey, this beer is not cold. Ooh, that gets me. I'm telling you, that really upsets me, you know. I said, okay. I said, go Mercantile and get it. That's the way, you know. So the next time they come in and they don't say nothing. See, because Mercantile is not as cold as mine. Because, see, they have those open doors, you know. Because I noticed when I open those, you know, there, you know, it's not as cold. But see, now I have this one over here, see. So that keeps it cold. I bring it from there over here.
I think I'll probably run it until I'm not able to anymore. For one thing, I need the money. For another thing, it gives me something to do. Sometimes I have customers, sometimes I don't. But I've always got visitors coming in for coffee and stuff. They don't make me much money, but I enjoy their company.
Well, I'll tell her to call you.
I got her telling me.
No. I'll give you your phone number. What's your number on your cell phone?
When somebody says, would you paint me a picture? Yeah, what do you want? The Guadalupes? Because it all reminds them of home. When people leave here, that's the thing they miss, is the mountain. Well, for the time being, let's plan on about 6:30 then. And if something changes, well, I'll call you, or you'll come down here tonight, and then...
Which gate are you gonna go out? Yeah, our final shot is y'all going off to the house.
The way of the ranch is just about gone. I don't think it'll be here in another 100 years. I really don't think it'll be here in another 50 years. You have a ranch, you've got to parents and 2 or 3 kids, or 4 or 5. Well, when the parents die, it can't support 4 or 5 families, so the ranch sort of gets broken up. Or the kids just leave and don't care anything about the ranch, or when the parents die, they sell it and divide the money and it goes to developing. Or some Dallas man wanting hunting property or something like that.
I heard they're supposed to be at my house in the morning.
Yeah.
Early.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So
They're going to do my chores for me.
You love the land, you love your animals. You love the silence. And it's just a way of life, and I just love it.
It's getting where the last few years you see less people that's 19, 20, 21 years old out here with the branding crews. These guys here are getting up in the 40th age, and it's good to see that they're still able to do that. Got one young'un, but he wound up to be the best roper here today. He's catching the calves for him. We may just run out of cowboys one of these days, all these kids moving off to town.
Release me and let me love again.
Here in Dell City, a service that the county very much likes to provide is we
lead the funeral processions from the church to the gravesite. Mr. Gentry had lived in the valley for many, many years. He and his wife had been married for 55 years. It was a very sad occasion. He was a very historical man in this area. Of course, Mr. Gentry, we'll never know, but for the family, for the remaining family, we do try to show as much respect for the family as we can. And that was just our very small way to show our respect.
There was a funeral here today of an old friend of mine and of everybody in this valley. And I got to see 4 people that I haven't seen since I graduated from high school. They came to that funeral. And, it's a shame it has to be that way, but, people leave Dell City, they don't tend to come back. I'm Crockett Dean. I'm basically in the hay business. I haul hay. I buy hay for the dairies and then transport it to them. I was born in this area and I worked around the farms and stuff growing up. And I went to school at Dell City. There were still quite a few of the small farms and stuff in this area, a lot of the small farmers. And there was more money in farming then. People were making a decent living, and that since that time it started downhill. The school is probably about a third the size it was when I was in high school here. So Dell City is, it's home, and I've brought my kids back here to raise them and hope that they do well in life. Everybody kind of scatters, Most of the guys that I grew up with here are gone. They've all moved away and to bigger and better things. Basically myself, Jimmy Lutrick, and Gerald Gentry and Buff Templeton are about the ones that are still here and still trying to hang on.
A lot of people don't look at the country and see the same things. To me, I look at everything, the bushes and the grass, the rocks, the mountains themselves. Can expand the horizon. And if you take time to look and observe those things, it can bring a lot of satisfaction to you.
When in the summertime, I can sit here on this porch and I can look at this mountain behind us here. And that mountain will have a different picture every day, especially when the sun's shining. I'll see the sun will be different, it's a different color, it's just what I like to do. And I like to sit there on the porch and look at it.
Vivir aquí es una vida muy en paz. Todos mis hijos graduaron aquí. De aquí se fueron todos. Ellos pensaban cuando ya se fueran todos, yo me fuera con ellos también, pero aquí vivo yo muy feliz.
I think if you was to leave today, that you could come back in 5 years and probably find every one of us in the same place, maybe a little older, maybe a little grayer, a few more wrinkles from the sun, but I think we will all be here, right here where we're at.
Whoop, Pedro. That damn sure gets the water hot.